All right. Hello.
Hey,
This is
happy Monday.
St. Patty's Day.
Woo!
I'm Rebecca Taurozzi,
I'm Deleigh Hermes.
and this is the Real Deal ATX.
Coming to you live. Well, kind of live.
Kind of live. Yeah.
So our super exciting news today is that we are done with our 75 hard today.
Nice.
Bow, 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 bow. Oh my God, it's been a journey.
It has.
Like, it was so hard at first.
Yes.
Like, I was super motivated at first, but it was hard with the food and like the straight cutoff
Yeah.
of everything: sugar, alcohol, bread.
Friends. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Dude, I'm not lying. I had a few friends that were like, "Hit me up when you can drink again." I'm like, "Wow, are you my friend?" No,
I'm like, I promise I'm fun when I'm sober.
Yeah,
I really am.
yeah, we're still the same.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little more rowdy. Whenever we
Yeah.
drink.
Maybe.
But so so the straight cut off, I'm pretty sure when we first cut off,
It was traumatizing.
I could not sleep.
Yeah.
The first solid week, I
Right.
didn't sleep at all. Tossed and turned for a whole week. Had night sweats. Like I was like literally detoxing.
Full blown withdrawal. Yeah.
Dude, it's kind of sad.
We did do like Christmas, Thanksgiving, New
Yeah.
Year's, all the things.
Dude, all the
All the
things.
things. And knowing that we were fixing to do the 75 hard, I was like, let's drink.
We partied.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we went to Fredericksburg the day
Right.
before, and I started my 75 hard in Fredericksburg, and Joe had still and I had a friend who had a birthday party like that day when we got back also. So it was just like done, you know, and everyone was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine," right? Because it was like day one, I was pumped. I'm like, "Yeah, no, this is great."
Yeah.
And then same, I couldn't sleep good
Yeah.
at all for like a week. I was like, "This is weird."
I was like, I text Rebecca. I was like, do you think you're detoxing? Like, is this what detoxing is like?
Yeah.
I didn't think I had a problem.
Yeah, I know. I was just, it was, but then, and it could have also been caffeine because I wasn't really doing caffeine
Yeah.
either. I had also just gotten my Invisalign, and so literally you only take them out for 2 hours a day. So, so it was like no caffeine, no alcohol, no sugar, no. And it could have been our body like detoxing from just sugars.
Right.
Like the sugars
Yeah.
that we eat and everything.
I think it was everything. Yeah.
It was everything.
I don't think it was just
It was like a
alcohol.
shock.
Because I don't drink. I don't
That
think I
much,
drink
yeah.
enough to be detoxing from that.
No.
But yeah, all full cutoff. No sugar, no carb. Well, I was eating carbs like potatoes and
Rice.
but I wasn't eating any bread, anything like that. So that was super intense. And then once like second week and third week, it was really like third week I started to really tell a difference.
Yeah.
Like feel it. I was like more okay with the cravings.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks were like I wanted sugar so bad.
Yeah, you would text me at least twice a week, like, fuck.
Yeah.
I want chocolate.
I wanted
Like
chocolate
that, cake.
so
I want cake.
bad. So, and then I finally got over it.
Yeah.
Like I still got my sugar cravings, but I started eating like apples with peanut butter and mangoes with yogurt. That was like my dessert. I was like savoring. I'm like, it's chocolate. It's chocolate.
Whenever I would want something sweet, I would do my protein shake, which was just protein powder, a little honey, a little honey peanut butter, because I
love
like
honey peanut butter.
the peanut butter with honey in it, and then just water and ice, and I would make and I felt like, ooh,
Yeah, I know,
I mean,
right?
and I'm like,
Yeah.
but I was still getting my protein, so I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else? So were the workouts hard for you?
They weren't hard for me. They were miserable for me because it was cold.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows me knows if it's 72 degrees or below, I'm in like full 7 layers. And so for me to be like out there working out whenever, because we had to
It
do
was
one
pretty
outside,
cold
one inside.
a while there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like in the negatives one day.
Mhm.
Or I think we had 2 days of negatives. And so my husband was really great. And he put one of the little heaters outside, and I was in the covered area. But it was still freezing. But at least I was just like walking in a circle around the little heater just for 45 minutes in a little circle. Like, I'm doing it, bitches. Like, I was like, can I just open a window and like work out by the window? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go outside. But I
Yeah.
did have like the little heater things blowing at me. Because it's too cold.
It was cold. Yeah, I was definitely in layers of several of those days because I would use it as my excuse to walk the dog.
Yeah.
So we do the 45-minute walk
Yeah.
in the evening, and yeah, there were definitely a few days where I had on like tights and then pants and then like 3 layers.
Yeah. A beanie
Yeah.
with like a hoodie and then like a scarf around my whole face with just like my eye. Did you see the day whenever it was so cold and windy and I had I bought a special beanie for this where it like covered your whole head and then it would cover like all of this also. And so you were just like suffocating, but this part of my cheek right here was exposed and it within like
Yes.
15 minutes where I was just taking the dog out one day. It wasn't even when I was doing the exercise. It had like chafed, like I had like freezer burn.
My God.
I'm like, my body's not meant for that. My body's not made for the sun. I'm too white for that. Like, it's too pale. I'm a ginger. 15
Yeah.
minutes, 12 p.m. in the afternoon with no sunblock and no coverage on my body. And you'll think I've been out there for half a day.
Yeah. Where's your ancestry? Where's your family from?
German.
Oh,
Very
German.
German.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Me
Like,
too.
oh, nice. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it. People always think like, oh, Irish. I'm like, no, it's just full hairy German lady. Like Helga or something. Ingrid. I don't know.
Those are our new names.
Estelle. That was my grandma. She was very German.
Estelle. Oh,
Estelle.
cool.
Yeah.
Cute. Yeah, so after I feel like when did you really start seeing a difference?
I probably started seeing like at 4 weeks. I really noticed like before the hard 75, I was going to get like all these facials because my skin was like peeling off. No, I'm just kidding. It was so dry. I'm like, what's happening? Because growing up, I had kind of oily skin. And like constantly like a shine of just, and I'm like, I'm gonna look young forever. I don't even need lotion. But then all of a sudden, I was like so dry and so crusty. And so, but after the month, like, I was like, man, I don't wake up and have to like soak my face in like bottle lotion. Like, ooh. So I've noticed that. And I really am hoping that I can keep that going because I don't want the dry. I definitely felt that alcohol dries out your skin in a big, bad way.
You know, I did have a couple of people like a month or so in be like, oh, you have a glow, you know?
Right?
And I was like, wow.
Am I pregnant? Just kidding.
I was like, wow, did I not have a glow before?
Or was I dull as fuck?
Yeah.
Damn it.
But like maybe it was that like I had literally 2 or 3 people like comment on my skin.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like does alcohol really make that big of a difference on your
think it
skin?
does.
I think so too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. So that was really awesome. And then, so, you know, in my past, I've been athletic and adventurous and all the things, but I've never been super consistent with the gym and eating properly. It's kind of been like, you know, for a month, I might be really good at it or,
Yeah.
you know, it's like goes, you know, back and forth between food and working out. And so I feel like with the 75 hard, it was so important to have the 75 days
Yeah.
so that you can see the whole, like the whole length of what your body goes through
Yeah.
without these things.
Are you going to start introducing them? I mean, other than today, because we're celebrating today.
Yeah.
We're going to do like alcohol, foods, all the foods, maybe
Yeah.
like pizza, maybe take a break, go get some tacos. I don't
Yeah.
know. We're going to do some things today.
We're so excited.
So, but other than that, are you going to kind of introduce stuff slowly to see how it actually is affecting how you feel? Like we're going to feel like garbage for the next 2 days, but like after that, like, are you?
I'm gonna stay up with it.
Yeah.
I think I'll be a little more lenient with bread.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm at someone's house and they have a pizza, then I'm gonna eat it,
Yeah.
you know, which many times I did not, and I was just like salivating.
Yeah. I would eat like the topping, like just like
The pepperoni.
Just, pepperoni. I'll have a pepperoni. Yeah.
So, you know, I'll do things like that. But I'm gonna stick pretty much to my clean diet.
Yeah.
'Cause
I haven't felt like sad, right? Like I haven't cried.
No. I know, right?
No. Yeah, I haven't felt like pissed off because I'm hungry. Like anytime I've ever dieted in the past, I'm like, okay, fuck that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I want to eat this or I want to eat that.
Right.
And I really didn't feel like that. I ate a lot of different things. I was really creative with my food, and I feel like everything was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I got all my sweet fixes,
Yeah.
you know, really. Minus chocolate.
Yeah.
Like I might have some chocolate at the house that I have like a bar or two or something.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not gonna do it every day
Yeah.
or anything like that. And the other thing too was bloating.
Yeah.
I never knew that I was bloated like every single day.
Yeah. Because you're
Until
very thin.
the bloat went down.
And then you're like, oh.
I was like, oh my God.
You're like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge, 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 huge difference. And there was like a few things that I ate that were like from a restaurant or something that was, you know, supposed to be whole foods, right?
Yeah.
But maybe it was whatever they cooked it in, like the oil or something that made me feel like bloated or like bad,
Yeah.
you know? And I could tell.
Oh, yeah.
Like I could tell big time. Mostly like restaurant foods is like the only time I'd be like super bloated.
Yeah.
That I could tell
Yeah.
from this whole thing.
Me too. Like we would go eat somewhere and I would try to get like the healthiest thing on the menu and
Yeah,
even then I could still feel like,
Yeah.
what the hell did they put in there?
It's those oils they cook it in.
Something.
It's like bad seed oils and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if anyone out there wants to try and lose weight or gain a habit or quit a habit, a
Yeah.
bad habit, like do the 75 hard, hands down.
Yeah.
It is hard.
I might do
but-
it instead of like the dry January every year, I might do the hard 75 every year.
Yeah.
Because I really didn't, I mean, it was during like Valentine's Day and it was during, you know,
Right.
not Bloody Mary, National Margarita Day. Which is kind of sad. And then it was also National Espresso Martini Day. Like, it was funny how, like, people are sending me that shit. And I
Yeah.
was like, thanks. Oh, yeah, that is today.
Yeah.
I
know.
love those things. And so I'm like, put it on my list. Celebrate that day 2 weeks from now. Like,
Yeah.
so-
You know what? Like the drinking was probably the easiest
part.
part for me.
Yeah.
But there were 2 times where I really wanted to have a drink, and one was my friend's baby shower, and she had a huge party in Arizona where she lives, and I wanted to drink so
The
bad.
pictures there were so beautiful.
Yeah, I wanted just like they had a big old keg, and I just wanted to drink some beer and freaking hang out with everyone, but I'm drinking my club soda, you know? And
Yeah.
that was hard for me. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to go to
I
a
mean-
birthday and like partake. Yeah, I have a bachelorette party next weekend for one of my good friends, Carolyn, and so I'm excited that I get to drink
That's exciting.
for that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it was funny. My mom came into town and she's like, "Are you going to order a drink?" Because we went to the restaurant. And I was like, no, I'm on my 75 hard. And she was like, oh, you're not going to fudge? And I was like, no.
Right?
She goes, you haven't had anything to drink this whole time? I was like, no.
Right?
She thought I like had been fibbing.
No.
I really didn't. Like,
Yeah.
felt so good.
It felt really
It
good.
was a really good excuse to say no.
Yeah.
You know what I
'cause
mean?
There were
Like now, when I say no, they're gonna be like, "You still on your hard 75?" And be like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. They're like, did
I
you have to
just don't-
start over?
Yeah. One of my friends started over like 3 times.
So I had already decided that I'm gonna do this, but if I mess up, I'm done. Right? Like I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna do this shit all year.
That was the thing. I'm
gonna
not
do it all
starting
year.
over.
I'm
like,
not one of
fuck
those.
that.
I'm an all or nothing girl, which is probably good and bad, because like anytime during my life, whenever I'm like, I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna yada yada, and then whenever I would have a cheat day, like I would tell myself, oh, you can have one cheat day, and then I would have the cheat day, and then I'd be like, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. Like, 'cause I was so aggravated I did the cheat day that I couldn't like,
Right.
and so
Get back like
yeah,
on swing. Yeah.
yeah, I was just like meh, but so this time I was like, there's no way I'm having a cheat day,
No. Well, and we were holding each other accountable
which helped.
a lot.
And a
There
lot of
was, like,
people
lot of
knew
times
about
I was
it.
texting
Yeah. And a lot of
Rebecca.
people, yeah,
Yeah.
that knew about it were like, how's the 75 hard? I'm like, oh yeah, good. I'm not ordering a drink here. Go away.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Rebecca got food poisoning one day, like violently, like she had to go to the hospital.
It was so bad.
And so, like a couple of days later, I saw her and I was like, so, you gotta start over.
I know, because I
She was
didn't
like,
do the
"Fuck
workout.
you, bitch."
Yeah. There was 3 days that I didn't do the workout, but I literally, like, I couldn't.
Yeah,
Either I
no.
was going to
I know.
poop my pants or I was going to
Throw up.
throw up
die.
everywhere.
Yeah, no, she had to go to the hospital, so
Yeah.
I gave
So
her
I had
a
an
pass.
excuse.
But I told her straight face, I was like, well, you know, you didn't work out, so she was like, bitch, fuck you.
That one, you know what? That TREPAC event was tough because that spread we had,
Oh my God, looks so
the
good,
fucking
right?
pretzels.
Oh, it was at Easy Tiger. And they had those pretzels with the mustard, and I was just like, both of us were just like,
She's like drooling. I was like, so, yeah. And everyone's like, do you want my drink tickets? I don't need my drink tickets. I'm like, no, I don't need my drink tickets. But
Yeah.
I could have had 8 drink tickets that
know,
day
right?
and 75 pretzels, 2 sandwiches. Like,
yeah.
you know,
So glad we did it, though.
I know. I was like,
So yeah, we're
maybe no
so
one will see me
I know.
gobbling down the pretzels.
Nope, I have my eye on you.
I know. Yeah.
So today, after the podcast, we're gonna go get lunch,
yes.
and we're gonna eat snacks and drink beer and
Wine,
or whatever,
all the
whatever
things,
the hell.
whatever's there.
So excited.
Yeah.
And tonight, so I know the guy that owns Vidego Winery out in Fredericksburg. He's an old college buddy of mine, and I went out there a couple of months ago, or like a month or so ago, and I photographed like an engagement session out there, and so he gave me a box of wine,
Hell yeah.
and I was like, fuck.
You're like, I'm in Fredericksburg. I'm like, bitch, are you drinking? And you're like, no. I was like, good job. You're like, but I did get a box of wine.
Yeah, they're
was like,
like,
"Yay."
here, have a free glass. And I had to be like, can't. But yeah, I've just had this box of wine sitting in my pantry for months. And so I'm going to buy chocolate cake tonight and have a red wine.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to wait to share the wine with someone, because then the wine will go bad because I can't drink a whole bottle.
No, there's no way.
Because I would die tomorrow.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'd literally kill over. That is one thing I don't miss. Hangovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm
like-
going to feel like shit tomorrow and I have a ton of stuff to do. I have to do a video tour in a beautiful home in Lakeway
Nice.
at 9 a.m. So,
Oh, yep. You better go to bed early.
yeah. But luckily it's a virtual, like my client's not going to be there. So if I'm like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be all good. Okay, so today's show is also going to be about listings
Yes.
and like everything about listings.
Yeah.
From the beginning, from the listing appointment to the sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so since we're at Realty Austin / Compass, we do a 3-phase listing. And not all brokerages do that. We're big enough and we're nationwide that we're able to do it and be successful with it.
Yeah.
And so we'll go back a little bit further, because when we get your client, we have to do kind of the listing presentation. We go to your house. Whenever you go to a listing presentation, some of my clients will be nervous. They're like, "Oh my God, my house is crazy.
Yeah.
I have 12 kids and 8 dogs." And do you tell them, "I don't care," right? Like, you don't get a cleaner for me to come look at it.
Right.
Because I tell them, I want them to feel like relaxed and comfortable with me, because I'm not looking at your shit. I'm
Right.
looking at your house. I'm looking at the paint. I'm looking at,
Yeah. If there's cracks,
everything else. I'm not
all kinds
looking
of-
at if you have a pile of clothes
Messy.
in the corner
Right.
and you didn't wash your dishes before I come over.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people that are fixing to list their home feel like they have to get their home ready to sell, show ready, before they
Before-
even speak with us.
Right.
And so please don't do that. Please don't do that, because a lot of times you're going to do some unnecessary work to your home. You may think it needs to be painted and I don't.
Well, it might be delayed too. You might delay getting us over there because
Right.
you're trying to get it fixed up before we even come.
Yeah.
You know?
And the way Realty Austin Compass lists the property, which is why I backtrack to this, is we do private exclusive, where we only really need a photo of the outside of your house and maybe the backyard to go private exclusive, and get it out there while all of this is happening. So please don't hesitate to call, even if you think your house is a shit show. We've seen it all.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. We've seen it all. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So whenever we come over, our meeting is specifically about why you need to move, when you want to move, and all the information about the property. So we're going to ask you about all the things like AC, how old is your roof? How old is your AC unit? All the things. We'll get all the
What
information.
kind of flooring do you have? Because sometimes you can't tell from just looking at it.
Yeah, so we'll get details, and most importantly, the why. Why do you need to move? Because that's going to help us determine how to market your property.
Yeah. Or
You know?
are you just selling because this is investment property? Are you selling because you're a short sale almost in foreclosure, which I'm certified in, and I can help with that 100%. If y'all are out there, it's a horrible, stressful time to be in, and I try to make that as easy as possible. I know there's a lot going on right now in the market because of all the buy downs and stuff a couple of years ago when the properties were overpriced.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, or if you have a job transfer,
Job
does this
transfer.
need to be speedy? Can you only afford one mortgage payment? Do you need the sale of the
sell
house to be
before you
able
buy.
to purchase?
yeah.
So, even if we don't sell the house, there's opportunities and different programs for you to have cash up front. If your property doesn't sell, there's so many different options, and that's what we need to find out whenever we're there.
Yeah.
And we're also going to ask you personal information about, do you have liens on the property? Is
Do you have solar? That's important. We need
yeah,
to get in touch with your
solar.
solar company to see if that can even be assumed by someone else, or if it's going to have to be paid off with the sale of the property. A couple different options for
Right.
people with that.
Yeah, and then, also, are you going through a divorce? Who, is all indeed, do you have,
Inherited property.
right? I mean, so we've got to know all that information so that we know exactly who the property's going to go to, who's money going to go to
Yeah.
during the sale. So, I mean, we get deep down and personal.
Yeah.
So just expect that, but it's all confidential, and
Yeah.
that's going to help us help you sell your property faster.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. I had something interesting happen would now be a good time to talk about that, or not yet? The fake listing.
Yeah.
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 So another reason why we get really kind of into
Personal,
and why we want to
and
meet
we
with you
face to
soon, face to
face,
face.
and why we need your IDs.
Yeah. I got contacted. I got a phone call and they said, "Hi, do you sell property in Taylor?" I said, "Yes, I live very close to there. I'm north. She's more south, but we do work kind of all over, but I'm very north." And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. It's my backyard basically." And they said, "Okay, if I send you over the details, can you get this listed?" And so it was very short, not completely odd. I've had clients reach out to me that referred to me by another client, and that the transaction kind of went that way, like really quick and fast. And okay, I'm here to help because I work with short sales and foreclosures. So we didn't really discuss that yet. I just wanted to get the info, and then I would have the whole discussion and meet up with her. And so I get the info, 80 acres, great property. And then whenever I pulled up the information, the voice didn't really match like the name, right? And as realtors, we're like taught, use your common sense, right? Like if it seems off a little,
Yeah. You have to trust your
you
gut
have to
in
trust your
this
gut.
field,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of fucking freaks out there.
Yeah. And so I reached back out and I said, "Okay, perfect. Can you tell me a little bit about the property?" Like my normal questions, how long have you owned it? Because I can see that, where do you have the survey? Different stuff that someone who bought a property in 2018 would have. They said they didn't have the survey. And so I was like, okay, that's kind of odd. This is a pretty big piece of property. And in 2018, there was a lot going on in Taylor. That would be
Right.
kind of when you would definitely want to know and have a survey. And yeah, it seemed a little off. And so I was like, okay. So then I reached out to my title company, said, "Hey, I want to go ahead and I'm going to be listing this. I want to go ahead and get title pull. I want to get some info on this, so see as much as I can see."
Right.
So I did see that it was inherited property. So I was like, okay, maybe as an inherited property, you wouldn't have the survey. So I was like, all right, still a go. And I reached out and I said, okay, I see that the property is about 18,000 an acre. It's Taylor. We have Samsung going up there. Like
Right.
it's worth a buttload. Anyway, and I was like, this is going to be a great listing. And I said, "When are you wanting to list?" And they said, "I want to list by this Friday." I was like, "I can do that. I'm sending you all the paperwork right now." Right. So I get it all sent over there. I said, "Hey, can you go ahead and send me your driver's license?" So about an hour later, right, a little bit of time, like I felt like that would have happened pretty quick, but you never know.
Right,
People are busy.
yeah.
They have jobs. There's
Right.
shit to do. I'm
Yeah.
not always, I try to be right by my phone. Sometimes I'm not. Like maybe they're doing a podcast, right? And so sent me an ID. The name almost matched. The address matched the deed. So it was the middle initial was different on the ID versus the deed, the tax record. And I said, "Well, that could be a typo, right? Like if there was something else off, if the address was off or something
Right.
like that." So I'm doing a little more digging and I see the zip code is different. So the middle initial and zip code is different. And it was not a driver's license. And so again,
Was it a paper permit?
no,
Oh.
it had a photo. So I have a photo of this person. And I'm like, again, even then I felt like it didn't match matched the voice than what I thought, but still a little off to me. Right. And so then I was like, man, with the zip code being off, that just title companies don't really make mistakes. And and when you buy the property, you check for mistakes. There's that whole form. Check this is your name.
Right. Yep.
Sign here.
Yeah.
Check this. Give me your driver's license. So I'm like, man, I wonder if I could call the title company and ask them to like pull that file and compare, but I don't know if they're legally allowed to do that. So I didn't do that yet. Something else, it was not a driver's license, it was an ID. And I'm like, then I also saw that this person that owned this property owned about 5 other pieces of property out there. And I felt like, isn't it weird for someone to own 5 huge pieces of property in Taylor and not have a driver's license, just have like a photo ID. I thought that was weird. And then there was like in the picture of the ID, it looked like it was on like a cover, like, you know, if you put your ID on your bed and took a picture of it.
Right.
But and this is so not probably, anyway, part of the cover, it was like patches, all one size. But then up here it was like a mini patch. And I'm like, it just looked like Canva, right? Like they, you know, it just something. It looked a little off to me.
Yeah.
And then the eye color of the person on the ID was black eye color. And I was like, I've never seen that, right? Like, I'm trying to think of the times I've gotten all my kids their driver's license and I have to fill out 10,000 fucking pages of paperwork.
Oh, it said black.
And it said BLK as the eye color. And I'm like, is that a selection? So I had me and my husband, we were like Googling, because it was an Oklahoma ID, because the owner of the property is out of Oklahoma. And
That's
the eye
creepy
color
as shit.
was black. And I'm like, is there a selection? Because I've seen brown, hazel, you know, I've seen black hair, blonde hair. I've never seen black eyes on that I can think of, but I've
one
never
has
paid
black
attention to that.
eyes.
Who has black eyes, right? This
devil.
lady kind of had black eyes, but I'm like dark brown.
Yeah, dark
You would just say brown.
Right.
And so, so just like little things like that, that made me very hesitant, but I didn't want to lose the deal, right? Because I'm like, if this lady, okay, so then I send her the comps. I'm like, hey, just letting you know, here's the comps. I'd really like to go on a Zoom call. You know, I see that you're in Oklahoma. I would like to chat again. Never will chat again. She's like, just send me the papers. We're good. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, I need to know what you want to list it for. I'm showing 18,000 an acre and it's 80 acres. So we're looking around 1.5. Do we want to start a little higher on the private exclusive, which we do here. And that gives us time to test the market without it being, it's exclusively listed to all Compass agents and all of Compass agents' clients. And she goes, no, I want to list it for 150. And I was like, 150 what? You know, I was like, what are you saying right now? And I'm like, I'm sorry, just to confirm, you want to sell your 80 acres in Taylor by Samsung for 150,000? Because me and my husband are going to buy that tomorrow. And so I was like, yeah. I'm like, this is great. Go ahead, right? And so I'm like, are you sure? Because I feel like, you know, you're just wanting to get rid of it. Even 15, that will sell like that, you know, an acre. So not, anyway, it was like a million. It was so much less than what it should be because it should be 1.5 million that this property's going for. So I'm like, this is totally a scam. And so I sent all that to her, but she has never responded now.
Oh.
But I was like, I'm going to keep doing it until I for sure know it's a scam because I don't want to lose a deal. And I don't know until I see her in person. So then I did a little more digging and I Googled, the person's name was very common, right? Like it was, you know, Joe Bob. We'll go with Joe Bob. I'm not going to say the person's real name. Joe Bob, like that's not really familiar.
Generic.
It was just a generic name that there's thousands of.
It's like a firsty.
Yeah. And so whenever I Googled, like on social medias, I found thousands of them. But then I went on LinkedIn and I did the name out of the city that the title work was. And a 50-year-old woman that had some A&M affiliation, but lived over there. Like that kind of tracked a little bit better.
Yeah.
Full name matched completely. No middle name wrong, you know? And so I actually reached out to that person and said, hey, this is not a scam. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to let you know. I've had someone, and I like broke down the whole scenario. And I said, if this is your property, please reach out to me so that I can send you the information of the person who's trying to sell your property.
Right.
Because I really think that it was a scam.
Yeah.
And it's the first
think
time
so
in my
too.
business I've ever had that happen.
Man, I've had several of those weird scammy things.
But for buyer side or seller sides? Because I've had buyer side scammy a lot.
I've had one lot listing. It was like an infill lot, and they wanted to sell it.
Ooh.
Good catch.
Oh, that's close.
Yeah, no, it was an infill lot, and basically asked for the ID, and they never answered again. It was like
I got an
simple.
ID, which I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
It's fucking real.
Right?
Yeah, I have to show you that.
I want to see it. I was telling
I'll show it to you
Rebecca a couple, like maybe like a month and a half ago, a buyer reached out to me from California wanting to move to Austin. I spoke with him on the phone. He gave me an address that was to a home, which is a lot of times the scammers, they'll send addresses of buildings, like a commercial building that has a bunch of offices in it. And so I was like, okay, maybe. And then, we chatted about the type of home, all the, bedrooms, bathrooms, pool, blah, blah, blah. And like when he's moving, when he wants to move, like all the things, even talked about coming to Austin. And I'm like, okay, cool. So once he was like, hey, okay, I'm ready to move or I'm thinking about coming to Austin soon. I was like, great, I'll send over the buyer's rep and the IABS, and we're going to fill out this information so that I can show you properties. And, he signed them. But when I asked him to send over his ID with it, it just kind of ended communication. He did say, oh, don't worry, I'll send it. And then never did. And then, when I gave him a reminder, right. Yes, I'll get right on that. I'm busy for work, but I'll send it to you. Still never sent it. And then several days later, he writes me, so do you invest in stocks or Bitcoin? I'm like, thanks for wasting my time, asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
I've had some that will talk to me and then be like, you look so pretty on social media. And I'm like, I'm also married with 75 kids. What? I'm like, thank you. What do you think of the house?
All right.
Like,
yeah, do you think the house is pretty?
Are you talking about the house? Weirdos. Anyway.
So, yeah, that's why we asked for your ID, so we can vet you. Because honestly, this is a kind of a dangerous job in a way.
Very.
Like we meet strange men in homes.
But
Often.
we also carry weapons. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of realtors that are like, oh, I have a mace. Bitch, I have a gun.
Yeah, right?
And if you come at me,
Yeah.
I might bite your face and shoot your dick off. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Come by house with me. Just kidding.
Also, don't fuck with it.
Yeah. No, I was raised as my dad's little girl, and you don't want to come at me. You don't want to come at me. Did I ever tell you about the time I was showing a house and there was a squatter, like someone was hiding under the bed, and I almost got
No.
It was the scariest
What?
fucking thing
Oh
my God, it was so scary. So cold day, kind of rainy, beautiful home. But the reason my clients are selling is because this beautiful home backed up to a newly acquired, trailer park, right? Like the travel trailer park. Mm-hmm. So annoying because this house was fucking beautiful. Like
so they bought it and they
bought it
started
and
it.
then like
Made it into
and
an
then
RV park.
yeah, they owned it for a year, and then all of a sudden it was like bang, 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 bang.
Dang it.
And they were like, what? And so yeah. So they moved out. I go to show the property, and my client's like, yeah, the cleaners came yesterday. Everything's great, blah, blah, blah. So I go in and I'm setting up. I think it's an empty house. It was gated, right? So it's like, I felt very safe, right? But the electric fireplace was going, and there was music playing And I was like, oh, they left it like ready to show. Right? And so I start setting up. I'm putting out my books and my fucking cookies. And, you know, I think I did like champagne and cupcakes that day or something. Right? And I'm walking through. I'm turning on all the lights. Well, then I go to this other hall and in the bedroom, and I see like a sheet on the bed, like a ugly sheet, a dirty pillow, and the sheet's kind of like pulled across, like someone had been sleeping in there. And I was like, I thought the fucking cleaning lady came, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so I walk, I'm like, well, I got to fix this, right? So I'm like, I'm getting rid of that dirty fucking pillow, right? Like, what the hell? Like, it just, the house was pristine. It didn't work, right?
Right. Yeah, it didn't
And
make
so,
sense.
So, like, here's the door, and then here's the bed, and I walk around to pull the sheet on and take the pillow, and I'm going to, like, put it in the closet. So whenever I get over there, right, I walk over here, and I'm, like, facing the door like this, and I go to like reach over, and my knee is like not touching the bed because I still have, like, I wasn't close to the bed enough to hurt my knee because I had recently been recovered from my knee surgery. So I'm always, that's why I know exactly where this fucking knee is at all times,
Yeah.
right? So I knew I was like away from it and like went to pull the sheet towards me. And so I like had rested my knee like barely on it and grabbed the sheet. And when I went to step in like that, to step by it and grab the sheet, the bed like raised up and moved that way. Like if like I was about to kick someone with my foot and they were like, whoa, right?
Yeah,
Like tried to scoot
yeah.
out from, or like tried to tip over and would have moved the bed away, away when I was pulling this way. But my leg wasn't like touching
On
it
it.
yet. So it wasn't, and
It wasn't you.
and I wouldn't have done, like, it went up and over. And I was like, I still get chills today. Like, I was like, right? And I like go, I like run around and I like look back and I see like something kind of like under it.
Oh,
And I
my
like
gosh.
just ran straight out of the house. And I like go get in my car and I was like, oh my God. Like, luckily I had my phone in my hand, right? Like, but I still had all my shit in there. All the lights are on, the key, the lockbox, my Supra, everything was inside
Right.
because I was getting it just like ready for welcome. I have my like open house welcome mat, you know? And I was just like sitting in the car and I was like, oh my God, right? So I called my husband and I was like, someone's in the house. Someone's in the house, but my computer bag's in there. I have to go back in that fucking house.
Yeah.
And like I do carry a weapon, but it's like in
the bag.
my
In the
bag and not on me, not in my car. It's in there because I had taken all my stuff in there. And I was like, right. So I'm like, I
Oh
wait there
my
for a
gosh.
minute. I call the people. I'm like, hey, y'all had the cleaners come, and I'm explaining to them. They're like, you need to leave. You need to leave. Someone was in our house. Probably someone jumped the fence because they saw they moved out
Oh
and
my
is squatting in
gosh.
their house.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my God. But I had to go back in. I'm like, I cannot leave my gun, laptop, super lock. Like, I need to lock this house back up. And so I waited and waited. And then I was like, nope, screw it. So I went in there and I like opened the door. I'm like, hey, I'm coming back in here. I don't care that you're in here. I'm just getting my bag
Thanks.
and my thing. If you come out, I do have a gun and I will fucking unload on your face. I just want my laptop. Do not come out.
Nice.
And I got my shit. Then I did have my gun, and I was like, "No, I'm a gun bitch," right? And then I left, and I locked up, and I
That's
left.
Scary.
Isn't that
That's
scary?
Yeah, no, it is. My friend, that's an agent. She was showing a property one time, and there was someone in the closet. And when she opened the door, there was a person in the closet they were doing the same thing. They were sleeping in the
Yeah.
empty house and scared the shit
Fuck.
out of them.
That's so
Everyone
scary.
went running. Everyone ran.
No, it's scary as fuck, right?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I've only had one, I think. Well, I had two weird things happen. Like, once was, it wasn't that bad, but it was malicious. It was like, or
Oh,
like facetious, like it was weird,
yeah.
you know. I was at an open house, and typically if someone comes in the open house, I stay downstairs
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want to be
Ups
with a
trapped with anyone.
stranger, right?
Yes.
So you stay upstairs or downstairs. And so um a guy had come in. He looked, so there was it was a new build and it was a B unit. So the backyard was small. And so there really was, it had a little side yard with a pool, and then the backyard, you know, maybe they have to have a back door for code, but it was a small, very small yard that didn't really go anywhere. So I didn't unlock it, right? And so the guy came back, he unlocked it, but he didn't go outside. He just unlocked it. And then he asked me if I was alone.
Oh.
That's like question number one.
You're like, no, I'm not. There's 6 people in here. Fucking creep.
I'm like, yeah, I got Smith and Wesson right here.
Yeah.
So he goes upstairs, and he is up there for a while, and he comes back downstairs. So when he was upstairs, I went and locked the back door again and came back out so he didn't see me lock it. And then he went back to the door and unlocked it again and asked me more questions. And then he left.
I
And I'm
don't
like,
like
was he
that.
trying to get in later?
Yeah.
Or, you know, thought I would miss it? I don't know. He was really strange. He was not looking to buy a house.
Yeah, that's so
You know what I
weird.
mean? Like, he saw the open house sign, because I saw him drive past, and then he came back, parked, sat in his car for a while, and then he came in because they had big windows, right? So you could like see out the front yard. So I could see who's coming down.
Yeah.
And so like it just was weird from the start, but
Yeah.
it's like you always have to just be on it
Yeah.
no matter what, especially with open houses. And it's funny because they, you know, they like brokers, they teach you bring someone to your open house. I'm like, who is gonna come sit with you?
I used to
at your
have
open
I
house?
used to have my son,
Well,
my
that's
youngest son.
something.
And
Yeah,
you know,
I've never had a boyfriend or like anything that's
couple
like,
times
sure,
I
I'll
would
come
make
with
Joe.
you.
Yeah. Sometimes I'd make Joe do it.
My friend's girlfriend goes with her and like goes
Yeah.
and hangs out, and
Yeah.
they have a blast. I think it's cool
It's very
if you
boring.
can have someone else there.
It's
but
very boring.
no one has ever been like, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's no, it's my parents worry a lot. My husband doesn't because he knows how mean I can be. Just kidding. My kids and they're like, she's fine, right? But
Yeah.
but my parents are like, are you going by yourself? Be careful. You mean those people? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, like if someone's really gonna like attack you, they're gonna attack you, right? But I try to do all of the things, and I
To
try to
prevent it.
really know my gut, right? Like if I
Dude,
feel yucky, I'll stop the
Number
showing.
one,
And I
always trust your gut.
always get there early. I always open houses. Like I'll open the house, especially if it's the first time I'm meeting someone. I'll open the house and then I'll go sit back in my car. And then that way, whenever we go, I'm like, no, you go ahead. They're never going to be behind me, you know, unless it's a couple. Even sometimes they say it's scary, it's a couple, right? But like, you know,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It's mostly male, single men.
yeah, single men. And so I'll be like, no, you go ahead, and then I let them go in, and then I leave the door completely open, and then I stand like with my back at a wall. You know, I was showing a lease property to a man, and it was a tenant occupied, and I wasn't gonna follow this person around, and I wasn't gonna allow them to trap me in a room, right? So I was just like, yeah, go ahead, tour the property. Because I'm a single woman with a single man there. I'm not going to tour this property upstairs with him, right? Like, and the tenant called and the listing agent and said she just let him walk wherever he wanted. Yeah, bitch, because
viewing
I'm
the
not going to
property.
get raped in your house. So they were like, the tenant just stood by the door. Yes, I did. The first time I met this person, I really didn't get a good vibe from them. And yeah, I wasn't going to go all over the
Need to
property alone with
follow.
them.
I mean, it's a lease.
It's a yeah. I'm like,
the walls are 8 feet high. And like,
yeah.
what the?
I was like,
what do
yeah,
you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. In a lease, I don't walk around the whole property with them. I stand in the living room typically, or the kitchen.
Yeah.
And they just like. I mean, it's normally smaller.
Yeah.
You know, a normal size house.
Yeah. It was
Not a mansion.
yeah. When that agent called me and she's like, "Hey, the owner, the tenant, called. The tenant said that you just let the person just walk around their whole house." And I was like,
It's a showing.
that was a showing, but I was the only one there, and I wasn't going to be alone with that man upstairs or in any bedroom or in the bathroom. And nope. I hope
Did
they
they
had
understand that?
And they were like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point." I'm like, "Why are you even fucking calling me?" Like, it was another female. I would have been like, "Why are you calling me about this right now?"
Right.
You know better.
You know the code.
Shame on you, girl.
You know
Shame
the
on
code.
you. I was like, yeah, I did. Yeah. In fact, you're lucky I didn't wait at the car. Like, just kidding. But no, and that's why you tell your, don't get me wrong. How it even came up was I told her, I said, "Hey, I noticed that the tenant had left like bowls of jewelry and like pills bottles everywhere. Like, you might want to, like, for future references, tell her."
Put it up.
So when they told her, "Hey, the agent noticed this stuff laying around, and you might,"
she got
then she
defensive.
got bitchy and was like, "Well, she didn't even walk around. It's not my job to walk around and make sure that guy doesn't steal your gold chain you left on the nightstand. You shouldn't even have it there. You shouldn't have it there."
When you know
and I'm
a
not gonna
stranger's coming.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna walk around with this strange guy. Like, I'm not. I tell that's one of the main things I tell at my listing appointments is, if you have expensive purses, expensive shoes, watches, jewelry, firearms, medicine, any medicine,
Yeah. Make
put
sure
that
it's put up.
all, not like in a not in your bathroom medicine cabinet. I'm saying put it away in a safe where someone's, because, and I don't want to like put the fear of God in people, but like,
It's precautionary.
it's precautionary. There could
It's
be
smart.
someone staking out a home.
It's like if you have a party at your house and when you're, well, this is like in college, right? Not like now.
Hide your goods.
But I mean, yeah, like you have a party at your house, you put your shit away just in case. You know, it's like you would hope that anyone you invite to your house is not going to steal.
But you never know.
There are some shitheads out there.
Yeah.
That get tempted.
Yeah. You never know. There may be someone recovering from something and they had no bad intentions until they saw that bottle of hydrocodone. And then they're like, "What?" That's bad. I shouldn't laugh about that. But it's the truth, and I don't want anyone being triggered, and I don't want anyone being stolen from, and I don't want any of the bad things to happen. So I'm very clear about that at my listings.
Yeah.
One of my clients, the ones with the house that there was someone in, she had... I love this house so much. It had, I wish I could go buy that myself, right? Like, or take it and move it here to my house. It, like, through the master primary bedroom, you had the primary bathroom, and then in the back of the closet, there was a hidden door.
Oh,
and it had
safe?
But it was like probably about half this size of our podcast room. And it was, she had it as like her little like private dressing room, makeup room. It was like so cool designed.
How fun.
But she had the sickest Gucci wallpaper in there. It was fucking sick.
Nice.
This house was so good. Anyway, and but when I went into her closet, it was like expensive bag, Gucci paper, blah blah blah. And I was just like, I'm like, all of this, you need all of this boxed up and hidden. And she's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "'Cause someone's gonna rob your ass. Like, there's 50 grand in here minimum. You got to hide this." And she was like, "Really?" And I'm like, yeah. Yes. And so, yeah. It's things people don't think about,
Right.
We're
here for...
We're here to help.
That.
We're here to help. We have so many experiences and stories that other agents have told and that we've experienced that, we're just trying to help
Yeah.
get it sold and get it sold for the most money possible.
What do you think about staging?
Okay, so I'm kind of all over the place on this because I have half my clients who can envision an empty space and that's how they prefer it, right? And then I have half my clients who can't, right? Like if it's staged, then they're like, my couch won't look good in here. Or they're like, I can't imagine my couch. Like it's a 50-50. I feel like it depends on the price of the home and the size of the home. If there's any weird rooms where, you know how they have, I call them the all one space where it's kitchen, dining room, and living room, and it's like one big rectangle. That's really hard for people to imagine what their table is going to look like in the middle of that if they're used to like having a typical dining room. So when I have people who have houses like that, I'm like, let's do something in this space.
Right.
If it's very standard and it's like a, 1,500 to 2,500 square foot home, I don't feel like it has to be staged every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think the bigger homes do better staged. Especially when you're at that point of a luxury price point.
They have to be. At luxury, have to be, I feel.
Yeah, I do too.
People like to see shiny white couches, shit that it's not lived in, model home shit.
Right. And I think there's something to when a property is staged, it feels lived in.
Yeah.
And people, I think, like that feeling.
Yeah.
Of something that hasn't been sitting or vacant.
Yeah.
Even though it's normal to have a vacant home during a sale sometimes.
Yeah.
That people just have this perception that it's lived in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like psychology to have the staging in there as well as
what price
for people
point do
to
you
envision.
100%?
100%? I typically $1 million plus, I think.
Yeah. What about leases?
If it's over $5,000,
yeah,
probably. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
At least for a month to get photos and get those like initial open houses and broker opens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any staging companies that you prefer?
There's the Elite Austin.
Okay.
Staging. I used this one out of San Antonio one time that, man, their prices were so good. I don't remember their freaking name.
I had an amazing person, and she moved. Back. She went to Cuba, but she was legit and she was perfectly priced. And like her husband, like I knew her husband from somewhere I had done some accounting work from, and he was like, "You're a realtor. My wife does staging." And I was like, "Bitch, give me her card." And she was just fantastic, but they moved to Cuba. And I was like,
bummer.
What did you do with all your shit?
I know.
What do you do with all of it?
I'll take it over.
I have no, I just found out that they moved, just had moved.
Dang.
And I no telling where that stuff is.
Right.
But she had like a whole
it's probably
storage
thousands
full
and
of
thousands
stuff.
of dollars.
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. We're about to stage my client's house in La Ventana.
Nice.
So we're going to do private exclusive first.
Yes.
So their problem was, and this is why we like the 3-phase compass marketing strategy, is so they bought their house. It was over, they bought over asking during 2021.
Everyone did. I'm just kidding. Everyone did that.
So, obviously the price point now is not what they bought it for. And it was that pricing is everything right now. Like right now in the market, if your house is priced properly, it's selling.
Yeah.
Fairly quickly.
Mine went under contract in 9 days.
That's amazing. Yeah. There's been a lot of multiple offers going around in Austin. And so, but the last agent didn't sell it. So now we're going to list it again. And we've adjusted the price point, even though it's not what he wants. but he needs it gone because there's a $30,000 tax bill.
Damn it.
So he's got to sell it. But what we're doing is putting on a private exclusive, testing the pricing. I went and took photos yesterday. So we'll just put up a handful of images, and then we'll do the coming soon. And then a week or two before.
In the coming soon, it allows us as agents to see what's happening. We have our software that we have tells you like how many of the agents viewed it, how many of the agents sent it to their clients, how many, we kind of very similar to, I don't know, normal people out there. When you are looking at properties, you can see like in Zillow, you can say, oh, this has had 750 views. This has had requests.
Yeah.
Y'all can kind of see that. We, in the Realty Austin Compass software, in the coming soons, we see all of that and then some. And we see like by day what's happening. They send us a weekly, have you noticed that with your listings, how there's the weekly update on what your property's been doing? I send that to my clients. They love that info.
Yeah.
They're like, this looks smart. I'm like, yeah, I didn't do that, but yes, smart. I love my software.
Yes.
But
no, it's awesome.
yeah, so that's something else.
Yeah, so whenever you do private exclusive, whenever we list it on our private exclusive network, just the agents can see it. Like just Compass and Realty Austin agents can see that.
Which are tons of agents.
Thousands.
I think over 33,000 agents. So it's not like a handful. Like some of the small boutique brokerages that are great do that also, but they're working with like 100 agents.
Right.
We're working with over 33,000 nationwide.
Right. And then on top of that, if another Compass agent, even from out of state, has a search set up for their client in that neighborhood, they will be able to see that. Their client will be able to see the private exclusive as soon as it hits. And then when we move into the coming soon, then everyone on the Compass website, even consumers, can see it. And then it gets listed on the MLS, which makes it available to everybody.
Right.
So there's two opportunities for our clients' properties to be seen without accumulating the days on market, which is so important.
Yeah.
So right now, my client, their days on market, it takes 90 days to reset on the MLS. So if your house doesn't sell, right, and then we have to wait 90 days to be able to list it again to have 0 days on market.
You don't want to miss out during the hot time of the year.
So we're going to list it on private exclusive until their days reset. And as soon as their days reset, then we'll be able to put it on the MLS. So it's like a huge advantage
You'll
for
get
everybody.
it sold before then.
I hope so.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
think
beautiful home. It's out in Driftwood at La Ventana. It's a 4-bedroom and it has a full mother-in-law suite with its own bedroom, full kitchen. It's got a pool. It's right by the golf course.
Beautiful.
It's really stunning. It's on 2.2 acres.
That's
and
beautiful.
It is. It's really awesome. So if you're interested, reach out.
Call us.
It's a special
555. No, I'm just kidding. Like with the attorney. 444.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Sorry.
Should we get a phone number?
Well, yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
696969.
My mom would love that. To mom. I can't wink. Can you wink?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
But only
of
with
you.
my right eye.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
I can only do it half time. I look like I'm stroking out. So my husband's like, you're never gonna be able to pick up anyone in the bar like that. I know. I'm like,
I know. You know how it's funny? Like they have all those sexy chicks. I'm like,
yeah, I know. They're like, oh, you okay?
Like, are you okay?
You have your face dropped. That's what mine does.
I'm like, oh my God.
It's so much. No, I'm just cute, so I don't gotta wink. Fuck, right? Fuck off, guys. I'm married. It doesn't matter anyway. I don't have to be cute anymore.
You still are.
Oh, that's so funny. Sorry, I got us off track.
It's okay.
No.
So, yeah. I guess, before we stage, We want to like declutter. So if you have your own furniture in there, you know, we might not need to stage anything,
Right.
but we can come in and like stage your items and
Add
take
some
off
pillows,
your,
take some stuff off.
yeah, take off personal photos, you know, take off anything religious,
Yes.
all the things.
Just because you don't want to,
You're trying to like have
you
the
don't,
people walk through and vision their stuff there.
right.
Yeah.
And you never know, you don't want to offend somebody, right? Because like some religions, they're just, like they feel like bad juju or bad, like they're very, I don't know, like you just don't want to offend anyone, and you don't want to exclude any buyers at all. So
And you
just
just want it like clean and sleek, like just not cluttered in general, so that people can look past the things and just imagine their stuff in there.
yeah.
You know, because same here with clients being able to envision things. I have some clients who can totally see their stuff in there,
Yeah.
no matter if there's furniture in there
Yeah,
or not.
I can be
Me
like,
too.
my husband cannot. He's like, I don't see it. I'm like, no, imagine it red. He's like, now this is too orange. And I'm like, just imagine it red. And he cannot do
Yeah,
it. Love
I've
him.
definitely had clients who could not imagine their furniture in there and like how to set it up. So I took a photo of the room and then I virtually staged just a living room
Oh, nice.
for them to be like, this is what you could do.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, wow, I could not see that.
Yeah.
So that it's crazy how some people's imaginations are and like
Yeah.
how different we all are.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fucking weirdos. No,
Right.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
People are great.
I'm the weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Who is the gauge of normal and weird, right? Like I bet like some people think we're weird.
I know.
But I'm fucking normal. My mom's like, yeah, she's not smart. She has a sex. Just kidding. I did tell her that our last podcast that's all we talked about. And she's like, oh, great. And I'm like, yeah, you did it. You were my inspiration.
You know what? My mom, she goes, did you film the next one? And we had to cancel because you got the food poisoning.
Yes. Yes.
So I was like, no, we didn't. So she doesn't know yet
Yeah.
that we talked about shit about her.
I know. It's
Love you,
funny.
Mom. We're just teasing.
I literally love my mom so much.
She came to visit. My mom came to visit for 2
love
days.
that.
She was just like, I just want to get out of town. I just want to see you. It was so cute. Went
I
to
love
dinner and she came to work with me. I did come to work with your daughter day.
I saw that picture. That was really
So
fun.
She came to all my appointments and it was so funny. So my mom has been a car saleswoman her whole life.
Nice.
And so she's the salesy cars lady. Like she is always negotiating whatever. Like still to this day, dude.
I love that.
And so
Did you take her in to the showings? Like she was like your side by side? Like your
yes.
assistant for the day?
Yeah.
I love that.
So I have a commercial lease that I was negotiating and the landlord initially said that they don't have to put carpet down because it was a bare cement floor and the rest of the building has carpet. But my clients have a bunch of gear that's heavy with rollers and they're like, well, we don't want to snag it anyways, so we'll just keep it cement.
Yeah.
Well, then the landlord wanted carpet in there, but then he wanted to charge us for it. And so, that whole thing happened. So I had to go in person and talk to him about this and be like, hey, we shook on no carpet
The good old
and
handshake.
cement.
That'll fuck you every time. No, I'm just kidding.
And so I was like, we were walking in to go talk to him and I brought my mom with me. She has no idea what I'm
Yeah.
about to go do, right?
Yeah.
Like I just as we were walking in, down the hallway, I was like, hey Mom, I just have to say, don't say anything. Because my mom would be like, well, that, and she would put in her 2 cents. And so I was like, Mom, you can't say anything, just just listen and just say hi. And she's like, okay. And when we left, she was like, good job. She was
Oh.
like, glad you told me not to say anything.
Yeah, she was about to be all over it. Like, did you handshake deal with my daughter?
Yeah.
Did you handshake deal with my
Straight
daughter?
up, straight up. Oh my gosh. We did
Parents are great.
we did get them to agree to not do the carpet like they said in the beginning.
Yeah, that client doesn't need carpet in there. From what you described,
They don't
it would
they
just
don't
tear
need
up the
it.
carpet.
They don't know. They
Yeah.
don't want to snag it and have to pay for it again later,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Fun.
But it
Way
was
to handle
really cute.
Yeah.
It was really cute. She got to like see me on all my calls and like in person. She went to a showing. And
love that.
Yeah, it was adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I don't think parents really know. Like,
They don't know what we do.
Like when they
That's
look
the
at
first
us.
time she's ever been like, you actually work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Like whenever I look at my kids, I know this is so weird. Like I see them as they're all giant men, right? Like they're growing, they're older. But like when I see them, I see my like 5-year-old being like, mommy, right? And I'm like, what do you need? And they're like, what? I don't need nothing, mom. And I'm like, come here, love me. Yeah. And they're like, get away, woman. And so I'm sure that's how, like, I'm kind of a boss, like I handle shit and I
Straight up,
very
boss lady.
We're both very respected in the industry, and I feel like I can. And even before, like, I've owned businesses, like,
Yeah.
And whenever I talk to my parents or my mom, I feel, especially my mom, I think she thinks, like, you're doing a lot of smart things. And I'm like, yes, I am a smart person. And she's like, oh, that's cute. Like, I feel like I'm getting, like, that's cute.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm helping people with the biggest decision they make in a lifetime.
With a lot of money on hands and people's
Buying
lives
a home,
on hand.
buying and
Yes.
selling homes is one of the, it is the biggest transaction move people make. It can ruin a person's life, or it can make their life the best life they've ever had.
Right.
And I know I really try as an agent to think of every client of mine like a child of mine, which is weird, but like I really, really do. Like I want to protect them. I want to get them the best deal they can get. And sometimes I'm like, here's a good option for that, or let me help you. You should, and I try to guide them, but you can't say, hey, you need to do this. Don't talk to them. You need to talk, you have to give them options. But I'm always like, please pick that better person, or please pick that better lender, or please pick that better inspector. But I always will give options because we have to, right? Because we want to get sued for like one shitty day, right? Like, so, but we've definitely done it long enough to where we know like the best of the best.
Right.
And, and I try to really work with people who have that same type of integrity, right? That aren't looking at my clients like a paycheck. They're looking at them like a person.
Yeah.
Because
Like
I would
family.
say in the industry, in this environment of real estate and vendors and lenders and inspectors and all throughout the whole entire real estate industry, who doesn't like that word? Someone doesn't like the word industry. We're supposed to use a profession throughout the entire real estate profession. But it actually is an industry if we're adding everyone else. Anyway, so don't yell at me. There's I'm going to say there's 20% that think of people as people.
Right.
And there's 80% that look at them as a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. Prime example.
Knock this over.
My best friend, I'm helping her purchase her first home right now. It has been so special.
My best friend's starting this year.
Oh, awesome. That is so exciting.
I'm going to help her. Love you.
Yeah, so the transaction has actually been pretty challenging. It's been a pretty challenging.
That poor thing. She's like, found a house, not found a house. Found a house. It was shit.
Oh
found
my God.
It was,
yes.
I've been like this. Yay. Oh.
Yeah. And so on one of the houses, my inspector went over there. Not my, I guess my,
Right, hers.
the
But that's how we feel
inspector.
about it,
I
right? We're
know
like,
the inspector
yeah.
that she chose. I gave her a list. I gave her 3. She chose this one who is awesome, and um, so, but in the end, he called me and was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
this house is shit." He
Yeah.
was like, "I don't feel right charging her
Oh, see, I love that.
because
I love that.
it
That's
it
a
was
good, not for her, but
so
the inspector. I love that he said that because
yeah,
that means he
right,
cares about the
yes,
person for a person, not a paycheck.
yeah." And it was a bad, I mean, it was just like a hack job. It
Ugh.
was like they had added on so many different parts of the house.
Go gadget house.
It was a go-go gadget house.
Yeah.
For sure. You could still see like all the yellow like uh insulation, spray insulation with the little gun thing. Excuse me. Uh
That's the
it's like
second
the
time.
third time I've
The
done
second time on the podcast. I love it. That's us.
Excuse me.
That's us.
So, but yeah, no, it was a hot mess, and she really appreciated that because this is her first house, right? So she doesn't have money to blow. I mean, no one has money to
No,
blow, but
yeah.
some people have more money than others. But he knew that, and he knew that that's my best friend. Like I told him, I was like, "This is my best friend."
So go hard on this inspection, which they
Yes.
always go hard, but go harder.
And so, yeah, I have people like that on my team that will go to bat for me and my clients and are honest,
Yeah, I do
you
too.
know.
It's
And
taken me
he
a while.
literally said that too. He was like, I mean, I drove down from Austin. I mean, I could totally charge her,
Yeah.
but I don't want to because it's not right, like ethically, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, and
I
that's
love
why
that.
I call you every time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's taken me a while and I have a small group, right?
Yeah.
I have a large group of people that like I trust and that are great, but I have like a small group that I know at the end of the day
Yeah.
that are people that think and feel like I do,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And we just don't have enough time to meet enough people probably to make that bigger because they're constantly different lenders and vendors and are like, do you want to go to coffee? Do you want to go to lunch? Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but I just don't have time.
Right.
And
I have my
I
crew.
have my people that I really, really trust, and I don't want to betray that either. You know,
Right.
I want my client to use whoever they want, but.
Yeah.
And that's why I always give 3 to 5 options for every single thing. But I do have the people where I'm like, these people are people I would trust with my children. And that's how I write on there. So when you're making it into my circle, just know I'm pushing for you out
Right.
there. You know,
Yeah.
when you tell someone this is who I would trust with my child,
Right.
they're like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe I
Maybe
will
I should
use
pick
them
that
too.
one, yeah.
That's maybe the one I should pick. I'm like, these are great and smart. This is pretty. This is da da da. This
Yeah.
one's funny, like me, smiley face. This one I trust my kid. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure.
and it might not almost always be the least expensive, or you know, I don't judge it off
Right.
of that
Yeah, I don't-
either.
yeah, no.
You know, I want someone
They're
who
getting
I
paid
know
for what they're doing.
is going to do a good
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're paying to make sure this house isn't a piece of shit.
Whenever you have
It's gonna save
Yeah.
you 100 or
Yeah,
like hundreds
thousands
of
of dollars.
thousands versus your 400. You
Right.
know, eat that 400. Make sure it's a good house.
Do you do inspections for your listings sometimes?
Yeah, I will.
What makes you want to do that when it's an older home?
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
Yeah, if it's an older home, definitely just kind of like knocks everything kind of off the top and just lets that other agent slash buyer look at it
Yeah.
and see if they want to move forward and
I
spend the money
sometimes
on
want
that.
my seller to be, because sometimes the seller is like, I've done this, I've done that, I've blah, blah, blah. and I'm like looking at things and I'm like, okay, that's going to get flagged. They're going to shit their pants when they see this and they think they got an offer and then they're getting this,
lowballed with
wanting 50K
fixing,
off.
right.
Yeah. And
For
so,
repairs.
I tell them that it's a great idea to do that. Sometimes they don't want to do it, but I really try to push for it.
Yeah.
I've paid for it myself one time. I don't love to do that, guys, but it was really important.
Yeah.
That I showed my client what was really going on because they were kind of not
really-
being realistic with
Right.
what was happening in the home. And I'm like, I didn't want to feel like, sometimes I don't want to feel, whenever someone has such a personal attachment to their home, right? I'm transactional in my home, right? Like I can make anywhere my home. Anywhere my kids are is my home. Some people, they're very emotional with like, this wall that I scribbled on is my home, right? Like very sentimental about the home. And so I don't want to go in there and be like, let me just tell you, this is a piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would never ever say. But if I'm looking at it as a buyer, right? Like I'm going in there and I have to take the sentimental out of it because
Right.
that's my job is to help you sell your home. And so I have to look at it as, how would I come in with my buyer client? I would rip this to shreds. I'd be
Right.
like, this is wrong. We're offering this. And so instead of me as your listing agent coming in like a bully,
Right.
and you're like, I actually hate this woman. She's a bitch. And I'm not, I promise. I will hire, and if I have to, I'll pay for the inspection because I want someone else to be the bad guy. And if it's in writing and there's pictures, then it allows them to take a step back and see like, oh shit, this is what's going to be found by the potential buyer.
Right. Yeah.
And so I
100%.
think that's really important.
Yeah. It also helps whenever the market is hot
Yeah.
and there's multiple offers. It's a way
To
a
no
way to-
option period because we already see the inspection that was just done. So someone give me an offer with no option period. Just kidding. That was the deal in 2021.
yeah.
I was like, okay, no option period, guys. We're gonna get this
Scary.
fucking house inspected though for no reason at all. Like, because if you don't have an
So
option period,
scary.
I always had an option period, but we would do like 2 days. We would,
Yeah.
and I would have.
I've had 0 days.
Yeah. Only
We had
on
the
like,
appraiser waiver.
Yeah,
Appraisal
okay.
waiver. We did have that,
yeah.
but it's quite terrifying.
No, it's
Having
terrifying.
0 option. I was like,
I'm
you
like
know what this
checking all the
means, right?
doors. I'm trying to roll balls to make sure their foundation's good.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what this means, right? You're losing all your money.
All the earnest. And we did double because we wanted them to know we were serious.
Yeah.
So just know that was a
Dude.
wild time.
It was a wild time.
Yeah.
Wow. Never again. I don't want it again.
I like this better. I know a lot of agents are like, this sucks. And I'm like, this is great.
Well, you know what's crazy? So I basically really got my career started in 2020.
Okay.
And so my very first transactions were
Chaotic.
that.
Oh.
Like I had, before we even looked at a house,
Wrote 2 offers.
I had already, yeah, I had already sent them I had already reached out to the inspector before saying, hey, we're going to go look at this house. Are you available
That
this
afternoon.
day
That afternoon.
to
Yeah.
come do an inspection because we have a 1 or 2 day
Yeah.
option period. And so, I mean, I set that shit up. Like it was awesome and it was a blast. I was like, and they were like, how'd y'all do that so fast? I'm like, because I'm awesome.
Because I'm a boss bitch.
And then whenever it slowed down, it was like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, this isn't right. Because I had never known
Experience that.
a normal market. And so it was like so bizarre, writing
Do you miss it?
4 offers.
Do you miss the crazy? Or do you like being able to like
I mean,
the money was great, right? Because it was like
yeah.
deal after deal after deal. But I think our stress level and like, and clients were stressed and mad, right? Because they would be
Yeah.
like, there's 30 offers. How much do you have
Oh,
for
yeah.
this
No,
house?
it
I'm
was
like, this house is
insane.
worth 300,000. And if you want to offer 5, it's yours.
Yeah.
It's yours for 5. And they would be like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, I mean, and like you had to be brutally honest, and I did tell a couple of clients, don't buy right now. Like
yeah.
I was talking to someone, it was last year at this point, but I was talking to somebody, just like a random friend, like at an outing, acquaintance, and they were like, yeah, but you're a realtor. I'm sure you didn't tell anyone not to buy. And I was like, no, I actually did tell. I mean, some people wanted to buy.
Some people had to
So
buy.
I
Some people
I
had to buy.
helped.
They had to move here because they were from out of state and their job was here. They had to buy. They had, people had to move.
Right.
There's always people that have to move.
Yeah. And I told a few people, why don't you just lease right now
Yeah.
and then buy later, because it's gonna come down. It has to.
Yeah.
There's no way it's
Because
staying like this forever.
there's buyers who, and we had to tell people that because there were buyers that were first time home buyers who
Yeah.
only had 5% saved up down, that only, that
Right.
not everyone was moving from another state and had an extra 200K and could fucking play in the real estate market in Austin.
Right. Yeah.
So 100%, every realtor had to, unless they were shitty and they're like, let's buy a $200,000 home for 400,000. And I wouldn't do that to my clients ever. I'm
Yeah.
like, I definitely told people, if you buy this home, you are going to fucking hate me
Later.
in a year.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that. Our business is based off referral business. So if you've ever worked with me, send your referrals. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's based off referrals and
Yeah.
relationships, and that's why I really, really value mine.
Yep. I also told a couple of people, sell your house
Hell yeah.
right now.
I wanted my husband to sell ours. We were
And-
getting shit all the time.
Oh my gosh.
But then where were we
and
going to live?
lease.
Yeah, that's what we should have done.
You lease for 2 years.
That's what we should have done.
You know,
We had
I told so
crazy
many people,
offers.
I'm like, just sell it right now. Just sell it and lease.
We were offered
buy it when the
1.2
market's
at
down.
one point. And
Did
I
they
was like,
listen?
We should have fucking
No.
sold.
What'd you say?
We got offered 1.2 at one point, and I was like, why didn't we sell it?
I know,
You know?
right?
But once Samsung gets fully here, ours will be worth that again, I think.
Yeah.
And then we will be selling.
Would y'all move in closer to town or stay in Georgetown? Stay out here?
We would probably move to Belton.
That's even
Or-
further away.
No, we would be further.
No.
That's the whole. I know.
No.
I know. Like we.
She lives in Georgetown. It's
I live like past
don't-
Georgetown. Yeah,
I
live a
know.
little
I'm
further.
like, you
Don't
can't
move
go
further.
No.
I know. Or
We're in a working relationship.
I know.
You can't be that far away from
I
me.
know. If that ever like, that's what I tell him. I tell him honestly, we'll probably always keep this home and buy like a vacation home out on like Lake Buchanan. That's probably what
Yeah.
we're gonna do. I love Lake Buchanan.
I was gonna say, if you move further out, you have to get a little condo spot,
Yeah.
like
Right.
in Round Rock or North Austin.
I tell him like
so you can spend the night
I
and like
know.
go out.
I do-
Like
I
you
do.
can't go out and drive an hour and a half home. It's too much.
I know. I tell him, I'm like, I can't, until I'm ready to retire, we can't move further away. It wouldn't make
No.
sense for me.
It
You
would be
know?
way too hard on you, because you would be a Belton agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do have a Belton listing, but it's
It's
already got an
different.
offer, but it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because that's what happened to me with Lakeway.
yeah, it's
Like
too
I lived
far.
in Lakeway,
Yeah.
and even though it was beautiful and I loved the house, it was away from my sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So when I moved back to Austin, my business like doubled
Yeah.
because I was able just to do the last minute
Yeah.
coffee meetup or the last minute lunch or the networking event, because in Lakeway, I had worked all day, had to go home, change or feed my dog, and then I'm not going to drive back into Austin.
Yeah.
So then I wouldn't go,
Yeah.
you know? And just like being back in town made it so much easier for me to do business.
Yeah.
And just like to zip over to my listing
Yeah.
and check on it, or
Yeah,
any,
we
anything.
would never be able to do that. We'll probably have this house forever. And just buy vacation homes. I've thought about that also. Just
Yeah.
because this really is the perfect like place for us. And at some point on our acreage, we're probably going to let our kids have like tiny homes over there.
Oh, that's cool.
And that way they can, that way, we can always take care of all our kids. That's what we do.
That's cool.
Just kidding. Just kidding. We love you. No. Forever.
Yep, forever. Forever.
No, I'm just kidding. I say that, and then I have one of my middle baby, right? I call him my baby still. He moved to Oklahoma, and he was like, "I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna work with me and my ex-husband. We're ex, and so I'm gonna work with Dad. He does kind of like remodeling businesses, and he this last week he got his first little apartment up there, right? And he's
cute.
he's only 19."
Nice.
Right? And so he's just doing like big boy
Proud
stuff.
moment.
I hated that he moved. Like, I won't cry. Because I was like, anyway, I didn't want him to move, but he moved, and I'm proud of him for he's so much
Making
like
the
me.
decision.
He's so much like me. Like, I don't just want to be grown, and he's not grown yet.
Yeah.
And so and he called me today this week, and he was like, I want to show you my place. And he has a refrigerator, and his little apartment has just like a cooktop and no stove, no like oven, just a two burner cooktop. It's a 1-bedroom, living room, bathroom, kitchen, like kitchenette thing. And I was like, okay, well, do you have food? Do you have, like, now I'm all worried, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, who's feeding this baby, right? And
can he cook?
I
I don't know.
no. And I was like, well, do you have a microwave at least? And he was like, no. And, he goes, and the cooktop is an induction. So the pans that he was going to have don't work on it. Because they have to have a magnet for like mine in there. You have to have a special pan on an induction oven.
Right.
Or cooktop or whatever. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, okay. Well, then he has a dog, and he's like, my dog's sick. I got to take it to the vet, and I think it has worms or parvo. I'm like, it just has worms, And then he was like, Mom, can you send me money for that? And I was like, of course. And then I was like, yeah, but pay me back when you get paid. And he's like, okay, I'm going to pay you back. Well, then he called me, and he was like, I got paid. And I go, keep that and buy you a microwave or like a little like oven, that's like an oven and a thing so he can have, and I said, and buy you a pan, like keep that money that I sent you and just buy that stuff. And so I'm excited now because when I can actually go visit him, because he was living with his dad.
Yeah.
And I can't go visit there. But now I told him, I was like, well, now I'm going to come and visit you and stay. And he was like, okay. He's like, I don't have a couch or anything yet. So I'll probably go and, decorate his whole fucking house and buy some groceries and stuff. But
cute.
But
it's really cute.
Like he's the one that's like out and being grown, and I'm like, come back home. You can always come back home.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
My mom is always like that too. I'm like, never gonna happen.
I know. He's like, never. He'd probably rather be homeless than come and be like a child again. That's the way I was. I didn't want to be home. I wanted to be gone.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I was talking about that. What are we on time?
Oh my God, I have no idea.
Oh, I don't either. Okay.
It's probably.
We're just having great conversation over here.
We're probably on an hour and a half.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Wow.
Or an hour. Definitely an
Yeah,
hour.
definitely an hour. Okay.
Shall we wrap it up?
I guess so.
Because we have to go celebrate with food
Yeah.
and alcohol.
So, if y'all have any questions about listing,
Yes.
let us know. We're happy to get you a valuation on your property.
And we're not judging it on the clutter, the paint, the carpet, none of that. None of that right now. Like, let us
Just
see it.
come over, meet you guys,
Yeah.
hang out, get to know us, and we can go from there. But, any questions you have on getting your property sold, let us know.
Call us. At the end of this, we'll have a little flyer that has our contact information. And
Yeah,
you can
in the description,
in the description.
we've got all our information. I was gonna say property information because I'm so used to saying property information. Yeah, it's got all of our human information.
Human.
And if you want to change your life, do 75 hard, because it really did teach me discipline, and I thought I had good discipline. But my mind feels so much more clear.
Yeah.
My body feels great. I definitely don't have the urge to like drink like I used to or eat sugar like I used to.
Yeah.
So highly recommend.
100%.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
See y'all next time.
See y'all next week.
Bye.